everyone, Courtney here, your Plaid Clad librarian, and today we are going to be starting off with a let's take apart before we do a let's make, and we are going to be taking these wind-up toys, taking them apart, and then making them into brand new toys using different random craft supplies and things that you can find around your house. All you're going to need are some wind-up toys, and you're going to need some tiny screwdrivers. Past that, who knows what you're going to need? That's all going to kind of be random and up to you in the future. So first step is we are going to take apart our wind-up toys. So let's get to that. I have two wind-up toys. I have a little snowman who is on some skis, and he's got some wheels going on down there. He's just whirring away at the moment. And I also have a squid who has a bunch of arms, and let's just wind these up really fast to see how they move, and then that might give us an idea of what we're looking at. So our snowman, with wind-up toys, you just wind them up. Seems to go stop and start a lot. So I think he's supposed to like wibble back and forth and roll. There we go. Just needed some clearing up of some gears there. So we could have a rolly guy. And then we have our squid guy. Oh, that's really cute. He kind of just shuffles. So let's take these apart and see what's inside. And let's take apart our snowman. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over and we're going to look for the screws. You can see that there are two little holes here with very small screws. So I'm going to get a screwdriver that might be big enough and just put it right in there. And I'm going to unscrew. And it's not that hard to unscrew these. Ooh, look at that. We have a tiny screw right there. And keep these. Make sure that you don't lose them. You never know if you're going to want these screws back. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to take the upper casing off of this. Just pull it right off. That wasn't that hard. The inside, at least the top, doesn't look like there's anything really connected to it. It's just kind of a casing. Or I guess it's the back, whatever. But look at the inside of this. So there's a spring here, and its arms are a little bit different. Let's take off this spring, and I have some tweezers to help me out if I want them. They're not necessary, but they might be helpful. I'm going to try and get that spring off of there. There we go. And that detaches the top part. All right, I'm just going to put this down here for a second. Let's look at this top part. So he has his two arms. They don't really seem to move, but I think I can get this off. Yeah, I can. That's pretty neat. Maybe I can use those again. I'm not really sure. So we have the front body of the snowman and the back body. And we also have his arms. So I thought that the arms would move, but they don't. They're just a separate piece, and it's set steady and stable with our snowman body. And now that we have the inside of our toy, we can kind of give it a little bit of a look to see how this thing functions. So we have this spring. I wonder if that's really important. There's a little moving part here, right inside there. I wonder what happens there. So, oh, all right. So that thing rotates. And I think when it rotates, it also turns the wheels. So that's interesting. So if I was going to use this to make a brand new toy, I kind of want to use something for this little rotating piece here, because it just moves around. I'm grinding the gear, apologize. So that just moves around, and I bet you can make something that like it knocks into and it like jostles. But other than that, it just kind of like moves forward, and maybe I would make something to go on top of this guy, and then you have like a new roll-around toy. Maybe. Well, let's see. I still have this squid, and let's take that apart and let's see what the inner workings of that one looks like. So here's our squid, and just like the other one, we're going to take that one apart. So just turn it over, look for where the screws are. We got a couple of screws right there and there. So we're going to take those out. And this is already lifting off, so I'm going to carefully take that apart. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised how that split up. So we have, here's the mechanical piece, because the gear is connected to it there. So we'll look at that in a little bit. I'm just gonna put that down. And then here is the pieces that move. So the reason that it would shift back and forth is that this would move. And then looks like this also had a bit of an opportunity to move around too, but it was just cosmetic. So those are 3 separate pieces right there. That's kind of neat. All right, well, let's see what this guy is. So I wonder, oh, I can just push that straight out of there. And what happens if I wind it up? Okay, see how that just like goes to town in a circular motion? So I wonder what we can do with that, because that's not very big. It's like just that big right there. It's super small. Wow. I didn't expect that to be so tiny. It's just like, it's super tiny. So I wonder if there's a way that we can get something around that we can use. Let's experiment here. So I want to make a brand new toy, and I have a straw from a project before, and oh, would you believe it? It fits on perfectly onto that. So if I have that straw on there, I can make a straw move around more, which means that I have a whole bunch of space that I can make something work for me. Now, I have a lot of supplies that I have available to me. I have some feathers and pipe cleaners and balloons and straws and stuff. I also have scissors, and I have some duct tape. If I need to, I can get out some hot glue, but I kind of don't want to. I wonder what we can do that can get this into a brand new toy, and maybe even this guy here as well. Huh. So I know that this little knob here is perfectly sized for a straw. So I'm going to start with that, because it gives us a base of something to work off of, and maybe cut that down a bit. That's kind of really obnoxiously big. I don't really have a particular goal in mind here. I'm just kind of experimenting. So I wonder what will happen if I cut some holes in the straw, and then maybe I can thread some pipe cleaners through it. So that's kind of interesting. And then I think we can probably bend some things around and make it work, because when we crank the gear, it'll spin, and then you'll actually see it spinning. So I'm thinking that that might be fun to do. So I want to show off that this is spinning. So I think I'm going to add a few more of these on here. So I obviously added some more, and that is like a tornado of strange colors and everything. And that's really fun, actually. Ooh, I think I'm going to add some feathers. If you haven't noticed, this is a particularly like crafty on your own one. This is not one where you have a set of instructions and you know exactly what you're going for. This is a perfect one where it's like you kind of just want to explore with something and try things out and just find out what happens at the end. And those kinds of projects can be really fun. The best part about those projects is that there is no wrong answer. There's like no failure at all, because everything you do, just having tried it out, and any product that comes out of it is an automatic success. So I love these types of things because you're always going to win. Like there's no losing on this. I mean, how can you fail at something when you don't even know what the product is to begin with? I mean, you're already good to go. I'm just going to be silly and put that in. Ooh, let's do that with all of them. That's cool. I'm going to do that. I'll straighten these guys out for a bit. This is so weird. I have no idea what this is, but it's really entertaining me. All right, I'm going to wind it up. That's so strange. Okay, what can I do next with this? What happens if I just kind of... Then that just goes. So I kind of have to hold it to make it work. I'm not sure what else, or really what anything, is going on right here. But just this by itself is already a lot different than what it started out being. I mean, this little guy was a tiny little squid. And the only thing that's problematic with it is that I have to hold it, but that's okay. It's kind of like a very ineffective fan. I could potentially like make a case or something so where it can like sit down on the table or whatever, but just for kind of like starting off experimenting and such, this is perfectly fine by my book. And, you know, the fun thing is that if I want to try something different, I can just pop it off there. Okay, cool. So there's that. That's pretty neat. Then I have like this little dude that, you know, scoots around everywhere. I really don't know what to do with him. I have some balloons, and I bet I can probably pop it on top of that. Ooh, I have an idea. Let's blow it up first and then tie it off. Okay, so I have a little balloon. And then I want to kind of get it on top of... Yeah, there we go. So I have it really stuck because it had these little knobs on the front. See that little knob there? There's one there and there's one here, 2 little knobs. And I thought that if I could wrap the rim of the balloon around that, it would get it to stay and be more secure, which pretty good. So even just that. Let's see how he does. Oh. Well, that got clogged up, I bet. So it won't go. Yeah, he won't go, and I wonder why. Maybe it's because that was getting stuck? I wonder. Let me try to put it over and get it over the whole mechanism there. I think that's rubbing up against that little gear inside there, and it's stopping it. So I wonder if I can get some tape. Who knew that just putting a balloon on top of it would be complex? But that's what these kinds of projects are. It's like, why did that not work the way that I wanted it to? Let's try and fix it or do something different. That's okay. This might be a failure. I don't know. Let's learn from it though. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna take some tape and tape it down. And hopefully that solves that problem. It seems like it did. Oop, that broke a little bit. That's okay, I think. Let's try it. Let's just give this a shot. Woo! Okay, so that did solve the problem of getting it to go. Turns out that the balloon is pretty top heavy. I feel like I should have thought that would be obvious. So it just makes this little guy go around in a circle. So what can we do for our advantage there? Okay, I had an idea. I have no idea if it's actually going to work, but I think I need a different color balloon. Okay, I lied. I didn't just need a balloon. I needed a few other things too. I'm gonna do a cut, and let's see if this worked out. So this is what I made. I think I made something that slightly resembles a flower. I decided to give him a little bit of a leaf down there, and I made a tiny bee out of some felt. It looks super janky, but I don't care. And all I did was just like we did before, where I put the balloon on there and I taped up that side. And all I did was just wrap pipe cleaners around the base of the balloon, so that it would be kind of secure. And let's wind this guy up and see what happens. Well, I mean, I made a thing, and I'm really not sure what I expected when I started this out, but it kind of amuses me greatly. So that's already mission accomplished. And yeah, I mean, can you believe that this thing started off as a snowman? I'm sure it can't. And this guy, I mean, we had that too, so I mean, if anything, I've entertained myself today, which is a really good plan. That's really the goal of toys, right? Is to entertain you and to bring you joy. And I can honestly say that I'm pretty happy about this. This is obviously, these things are not a work of art. They're really funny. And I've been entertained. So mission accomplished there. Now let's say you don't have wind-up toys or really any of these particular supplies. For starters, I didn't start this off by grabbing a bottle of glue and some felt to make a bee. It was something that I kind of just went like, hey, I wonder if I could do this. Let's go do this. And then I, grabbed Sharpies and some felt, and I went to town and made a little doodly bee. So doodly. If you do not have wind-up toys, they're not that hard to get a hold of. You can usually find them at some random stores and whatever. But you may have some other things that are lying around that you don't use anymore that nobody would miss going missing. And maybe you can unscrew those, find out how they work inside, and maybe make up something new. I highly suggest you use items that nobody wants anymore. Check with the people around you. Make sure that they don't want to keep it anymore, because the worst thing would be if you tear something apart and it matters to someone and you don't know how to put it back together again. Well, if you find yourself in the possession of some wind-up toys that need some upgrading, let me know how it turns out. Take pictures, send messages, videos, anything. I would love to see what you all make. This is one of those projects that no one will have the same thing twice. It's going to be really exciting to see what anybody makes. So let me see what comes out of your project. Just have fun. Enjoy. With that all said, and these strange things to entertain me for the rest of the day, I hope you all have a wonderful day today, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.